I like YouTube for all of its nonsense. I like boxing for all of its nonsense. But if you were to combine the two, would I be able to say the same? Consider this video a prelude for when I review the sport of professional boxing. I will preface this by saying that I wasn't originally interested in this event when it happened. I don't really know or follow any of these guys. The only reason why I took notice was because of the amount of posts I've seen on the r/boxing subreddit about Gib getting robbed. The decision was overturned a few months later, which isn't something that you see very often. And after a while, the highlights showed up on my YouTube recommendations. So, what did I think of it? Compared to his loss to Jake Paul, I think it's a much better showing. I respect the improvement. Do I think that he wins a rematch against Jake Paul? No, but I'll touch on Jake later. To be honest, I wasn't interested in this fight. I was more looking forward to the co-main event, the rematch between Badu Jack and Jean Pascal, but unfortunately, Pascal pissed hot for 4 different PEDs. As for the main event, there was a lot of hugging. Floyd is old now, Logan needs more cardio, but it's not the only fight that I'll be talking about with a lot of hugging, but that's for later. I may not like him, I may not like his content, but at least he's a better boxer than most people and most YouTubers. Ben Askren, he was the former champion at one championship in Bellator. He usually fought at 170. I know he's a wrestler, but my god, he's got some of the worst striking I've ever seen. Tyron Woodley, former UFC champion, also at 170 pounds. He's also a wrestler, but unlike Askren, he has some knockout power. But he's got a reputation for not letting his hands go. Tommy Fury, prospect and half-brother of lineal heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, pulled out because of injury. And well, Woodley took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. That went about how you expected. I've heard some conspiracy theories surrounding Jake, a no knockout clause. Woodley flopped because Jake gestured his hands. If you genuinely think that Woodley could have won but chose to take a dive instead, then you've never seen Woodley fight without his wrestling. Like you're telling me that he suddenly learned how to act? Man, he should be the next Jackie Chan. He sold that punch well. I don't like the guy, but you gotta give credit where credit's due. He's probably one of the most punchable guys on the internet, but you know, he can take a punch and throw one back. As for what's next, I've seen some names thrown around. Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz, Anderson Silva, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I'd still like to see that Tommy Fury fight. He's someone of his age, experience, and size. A bit more of a niche fight for a niche audience, the martial arts community of YouTube. If you don't know who these guys are, DK Yoo is a popular Korean martial artist. You've probably seen viral videos of him acting like Bruce Lee and punching guys with motorcycle helmets. He's a bit of a controversial figure. He's got connections to special forces despite his lack of combative experience, and he claims that he could take on anyone from the UFC. Well, Brad from Fight Bible just so happens to use the fight in the UFC. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this to actually happen, because polarizing guys like DK Yoo normally wouldn't put their reputation on the line. So when I found out that this fight was official, I was thinking to myself, what's the catch? Well, spoiler alert, Brad won. And despite what the scorecards would like you to believe, he dominated. I know some of DK Yoo's fans are trying to paint the outcome like some sort of moral victory for surviving. But if we're gonna be honest here, the corruption was clear as day. You know, I got a lot of respect for Brad. He showed a lot of restraint in spite of all the hugging and fouling. Major props to him. Someone like a Shu Xiaodong would show nowhere near as much mercy. I don't mind these events, as they don't really get in the way of other fights that are actually happening. I don't know if anyone became a fan through these YouTube boxing shows, but I don't believe in gatekeeping. We all start somewhere. Comment down below whether or not these events have convinced you to watch boxing. My name's On, and I'm off. I was more looking forward to the co-event, the rematch. I've seen some DK Yoo normally wouldn't put their rev. He showed a lot of respect. DK Yoo is a popular. Consider this a video